So in this video, I'm going to show you how to build a professional website in less than 15 minutes using Squarespace. I'm going to walk you through step by step in this process, showing you how to create this site. I'm going to take you through some of the different templates you can choose from, how to determine different color schemes, setting up your site, uploading photos, and everything else that you need to know to create your site in a short period of time. You can do this today. You can follow along with this tutorial and make your site alongside myself as we do it right here in this video. So I'm going to make this as simple as possible for you and hopefully answer a lot of the questions that people might have on specifics for building a site on Squarespace. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this video. Now, I do recommend following along, so you can go to santrelmedia.com/Squarespace. This is an affiliate link, so it helps support our channel when people use this specific link. You can find it below in the description of the video. It just helps support the channel and keeps these videos free. So if you appreciate this tutorial, we would appreciate if you used that link as you follow along in this video. Okay, so once we are on Squarespace website, we can just click on Get Started right here. And then it's going to ask us a series of questions. Now, I recommend just skipping these because you're just going to go through and pick your own template rather than answer these questions. So you can see down here, you can click skip. And then we can skip this again. And now we have an option of either letting Squarespace AI build a site for us or choosing from a template. I really recommend actually choosing from a template. I know AI is like a big buzzword right now. And honestly, I think you can create a better site by using a template rather than their AI. But if you want to do the AI, feel free, go for it. So I'm just clicking on this option here, and then I'm going to click finish. And now we're going to have the choice from many different templates that we can choose from here for our website. Now, it depends on the type of site that you are looking to create. If you're making an e-commerce brand, it's going to look very different than if you are a wedding photographer building out like a personal portfolio site, right? Or if you're creating a blog, it's going to be very different on the templates. So for this tutorial, for this video, I think I'm going to create a portfolio site. You know, maybe this is like a personal portfolio of some of my work, maybe that I do. And so I'm just clicking on this to help me find better templates because there's a lot of different templates that we can choose from. And I suggest going through, browsing, seeing ones that you like. I don't really see any ones that I like right now. I'm going to keep scrolling. I think this one looks pretty interesting. And so maybe I will go with this one. And so let's say I like this one. Now, we have different color schemes that we can choose from. You can select this now, but don't worry, if you want to change this up later, you also can modify that. So don't get too caught up on the color scheme immediately with some of these templates. But let's say that I really like this one, and we can even look at the demo site here if we view the demo site. And you know what? I think I can work with this for my personal portfolio site. So let's say I want to make this. Let's X out of this, and let's start with this design. Okay, so once we've chosen the template that we would like, and also don't worry, like if you choose a template and you build it out and then you're like, I don't like this, I want to do a different one, you can go back and just start over and create a different one with a different template. Okay, so it's not high pressure there. So once we do that, then we're going to have to create an account on Squarespace. So let me just continue with email. I'm going to create my account and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now we are inside of our dashboard for our Squarespace site. And so I want to show you a lot of different things. We're going to talk about all the different features over on the left for selling, marketing, contacts, analytics. But I also want to show you how to edit and then some other features as well. So let's start off actually with understanding that in the upper right corner, you're going to have desktop view and then you're going to have a mobile view. This is something that a lot of people mess up on, is that they'll build their entire site for desktop and they'll forget to periodically check on mobile view. And the truth is that most people are going onto websites on their phone, not on their computers anymore. And so you want to make sure that you are building this for both desktop and mobile. I just recommend, as you're going through, just every once in a while, every like 5 or 10 minutes, alternate back and forth just to make sure that it looks good on both. Now, in the upper right corner, we have something called Site Styles. If we click on this, this is going to be basically our color scheme and then also things like our font for our website. Now, you can modify this as much as you would like. Just a pro tip here, though, that if you picked a theme, like a pre-made theme, most likely these themes were created by designers, people who know what they're doing. And so for the most part, a lot of these themes, I wouldn't mess with the fonts. Like, they have been selected that way for a reason because it looks a certain way. And so I usually don't mess with the fonts here, but if you want to, you certainly can. And you can change these up, and you can, make all kinds of different fonts here for your website. All of that on the site style section. And then you can also change things like buttons, right? You can change the shape of them, and some other things as well on this site style thing. Okay. So I'm going to just click exit here, and in the upper left corner, we have this option to edit. And this is going to give us the option to drag and drop, and like, this girl looks nice, but I need to swap her out with a picture of myself. So let's start off with that, right? So if we click on edit, this is going to be how we can use the drag and drop features to edit our website. Now, like I said, I started making sites on Squarespace over 10 years ago, and it was a lot more complicated than it is today. And so you'll see with this that we can do basic things like maybe my site title. I want to change this to, let's say, Nate O'Brien's portfolio. And I can add a logo on there as well. I'm not going to do that for now. And then let's say I want to change this photo here. So I can just click on Edit Section, and I can go to Background, and I can click on Replace. Now I'm just going to upload a photo from my computer. So let me just find one. Let's say that here's a good picture of myself. And it could take about a minute to get that uploaded onto Squarespace dashboard. But once it gets uploaded, then we're going to have some options for editing this photo that we put up here. So let's say that you can see it's kind of cropping out my head. So if you see this little white circle on the photo, if you move this, it's going to reposition the photo. So if I move it down, it's going to make it worse, and it's going to crop me more. If I move it up, it'll kind of focus more so on that area. So I'm going to put it right there. That looks pretty good to me. And then you can also do things like change the opacity. So if you want to have it like really, really, like if you want to dial up the opacity, you can do that, or you can have it down low. I'm going to put it around 10 or so for this photo. I just think that looks pretty good. And you can change other things as well, the colors, and the formatting of all of this. But I think that looks pretty good actually right there like that. And maybe perhaps I want to change this big thing up here. I don't know what McCurry means, so I can just edit this entire section here. I can change that. So let me just remove this and instead put my name, because this is a personal portfolio site. And so I can leave it like that, or I can make it smaller. I'm going to make it smaller because it looks a little bit just too big to me. So I can just click on that button right there. And then also there's going to be like a lot of the things that you would probably are already experienced with, like Microsoft Word, right? Like if you click bold, and then it's going to make it bold, right? Or if you want to underline it, there's the option there. I'm going to undo those because I don't think they look very good for this particular case here. So let me just undo that and remove that underline. Now I also want to center this, so I can click on that there. And then there's a big gap here, so I need to make this smaller. I can move my name up there, and then I can make this entire section, I can move this entire section up as well. So there we go. Now we're starting to get along here, and we're starting to build out this site. Now, I also want to remind you, don't forget to go over to the upper left corner and click save from time to time. If your Wi-Fi goes out or something, or your computer dies and you've been building this, that's just the worst when you lose something like that. So make sure you go and click save. And you can also preview your site at any point as well. If you click on exit, and then you can go over here and go to the desktop view or the mobile view, and you can preview how your site looks. See, it's a little bit messed up on mobile, so I'm gonna have to go back in and edit that and modify it to make sure that it looks as good as it does on desktop. So let's continue on here. I just want to show you a couple other things you can do for creating your site. You're going to have a header and you're going to have a footer. So on your site header, if we modify this, we can change this, and we can also change the navigation tab here as well. And we can move these. Maybe I want to put services over that, and I want to have the about page right there. That looks pretty good. Maybe I want to put blog right there, and I can move those around. And I'll show you more on like pages specifically in just a minute. But that's how you can modify that. The header and also the footer are going to show up on every page on your site. And so these are really important things that you want to edit. So this is the footer here. maybe I don't want this big text here, but perhaps let's say that I want to add my social media links. I want to put my Instagram and my Twitter links at the bottom of the site. And so that's really easy to do. Once we're on a section, we can just click on add block. And then we can add text, we can add buttons, we can add all kinds of different things. Let's say that I want to add social links. So there's an option for that on Squarespace. So let me just click on social links, and maybe I can put it right here. You know what? I'm going to put it right over here. I'm going to put it right in the middle. And for adding social links, I can click edit, add a social link, and then I can just type in my Instagram and click enter. And then also maybe I want to put my Twitter in there as well, right? So twitter.com, click enter. And then we can also change the design of these, right? They look really small. I want to make them bigger. Maybe I want them to be circles, and I want them to be extra large. And there we go. Okay. And so now when someone clicks on one of these, it's going to take them to my Instagram or take them to my Twitter. This is a really like basic thing that you can do, but it's going to be pretty great to just, helping make your site look professional. There's also this little thing down here that says made with Squarespace. I'm just going to delete that. So that's the footer, and you can make this smaller. If you just see this here, you can reduce the size of it. It's pretty intuitive, I would say, overall for your site. And then if you want to, say, change your select works, we can just get rid of some of these images. I can change these up. I can replace that. And let me just say I want to upload some other photos here. So let me find a couple here that I can put in there. There we go. We just did that one. We can upload a different file for this one here. And these photos will fit to the frame size, and so you can change up the frame size if you'd like to. They didn't used to do this, so it has gotten a lot easier for making this Squarespace site. And these are just some examples of my work for my photography business. And you can change all these up. You can link to a different page to have like your full works on there as well. And you can change the names of this as well. So like, I think this is Iceland. Now let's say that I want to add a button here for like a contact me, right? And so all we have to do here is click on add block and then go down to button. And I can put a button, let's say I want to put it right here. And now I can just change the wording on this and say, contact me. And I can attach a link here so that when someone clicks on it, it goes to either a URL or a phone number or an email. So maybe I can just put my email in here, right? Nate@santrelmedia.com. And there we go. So now when someone clicks on contact me, it's going to actually take them to my email. So they can just go and email me. Very easy, very simple, just like that. Okay, I'm going to click save here. And I'm going to exit out to the main page so I can show you the features on the left-hand side. Now, also, don't forget that if you want to have access to all of these features and you want to get a domain so it's not like Bamboo Seahorse something, you're going to have to pay to upgrade on Squarespace. And so if you go down to the very bottom, you should see an option to subscribe. You're going to get a 14-day free trial for your site. So if you change your mind after 13 days, you can go back and just cancel that and get your money back. Now, I don't know if that 14-day free trial is still going to be available to you when you're watching this. Just make sure you read the fine print there because sometimes Squarespace changes some things up. Now, for a personal site, because this is a personal portfolio, I'm just going to select the really basic plan here, but I do recommend going with the business plan, or even if you have if you're selling things, you're going to want to go with the commerce plan because you're going to get a lot of better features for that price. And so with the personal plan, you still do have, you have a free custom domain for a year. You have other things as well. You get that free custom domain if you have like a year-long purchase for Squarespace. So if you're just doing like monthly, you're not going to be able to get that. They do change some of these things. So I do recommend just looking at the pricing features before you, automatically just check out. But overall, these are the options for pricing. So let me just go with the personal one for this, and then we can decide to pay monthly or annually. They really incentivize you to pay annually. I do recommend doing this as well because I actually believe I have a discount code for you. I'll leave that below in the description. So now what I'm going to do is enter in my billing info and then move on to the next section where I will be able to choose my domain for my website. All right, now when you're on the checkout page, we actually got you a special discount code. So if you use the code Santrel 2024, you're going to save 10% on your subscription for Squarespace. So you type in Santrel 2024, click apply. Make sure you click the link below in the description in order to get this, but you're going to save some pretty good money here, 10% on this annual plan when you use that discount code. This is what makes the most sense when you do it for that year. If you're doing it monthly, you're not going to, be able to save that $19 that it's costing me for that year. So Santrel 2024, I'll leave a link to that down below in the description. And then we can just go ahead and click on confirm payment and get our domain and get everything set up and running. So we get a free domain for a year on Squarespace. So let's go and pick that out right now. So let's click get a domain. And let's search for different options here. We have nateobryansportfolio.com. You know what? That looks good for me. But you can search for different ones up here in this search bar. So we can just click on checkout and I can save and continue. And my registration is processing for nateobryansportfolio.com. I'm going to click done. And now our domain should be getting set up. Let me just X out of this here while we wait for that to get set up. It can take a little bit of time for the domain purchase to go through and for your site to be actually live online. And so in the meantime, let's go over some of the things on the left-hand side for Squarespace. Now, something that I think is really important and a lot of people forget about is the favicon. So you see this little thing up in the upper left corner. It's just a square, a gray square box. We can change this. And so if you go to your settings and then you can click on favicon, and this is going to be able to change your favicon. Okay, so on the favicon, I can just add a favicon here, upload a file. And I'm just going to make this one big N, right? So I just uploaded it there and I can click save. And so now my favicon is going to be this N, as you can see right here. And I can change the brightness. I can change a lot of different things on here as well. But that's the basics of the favicon, right? So now that I've saved that, it should pop up on my website in this upper left corner of your site. Okay, so let's go back to the left-hand bar where I can show you some different features as well. So we have pages. So on pages, we can remove some of these things. We can add different things. So let's say that I don't really want blog. I can just click delete, confirm, and I can delete that entire page there. And maybe perhaps I want to add something else back into there. I can put privacy policy up top and people can see that if I want them to, right? Or I can put it in the not linked section. So you have the main navigation, which shows up in the upper right corner, and then you have not linked. And you can delete any of these or add and create new ones as you please. It's pretty easy and straightforward for the pages section. Now, we also can look at things like selling. If you are selling products, whether it's like online courses, or you can do appointment scheduling. So Squarespace has this thing called Acuity scheduling. Mike just made a full tutorial on how to set that up. But basically, like if you're selling, classes or programs that people can, book appointments for, then Acuity scheduling is a really great feature to add into your Squarespace website. I'll leave a link to that down below on the full tutorial on Acuity scheduling. But then also we have things like marketing, right? So if you want to grow your audience, if you want to set up email campaigns, you can do all of that in the marketing section. One that's really interesting is analytics. So once we get our site up and running, we'll be able to see how many people are coming to our site, the page views, the bounce rate, the traffic sources. This is super insightful information that's going to be really awesome to really dig into. We don't have any of that right now, but I do recommend going in periodically and looking at your site traffic and seeing if you're ranking on Google for any specific terms. That's all going to be really, really great to have. Then we have other things as well, like scheduling that we can get into. We're not going to touch on that too much because I want to keep this video pretty simple and straightforward for basic website creation. But now that our site is ready, you'll see this on the bottom here, we'll have the ability to publish our site. So let me click on publish our site. And we have nateobryansportfolio.com. It's the domain that I just purchased. And so I'm going to click on publish. And now our site is live. I can copy this and I can go over to a different tab and we can take a look at our site. And here it is, and it's not perfect. I just made this in like 10 minutes, but this is the basics of the site. And these other things I need to still modify, but you can see how straightforward and actually pretty easy it is to do this. And you can just create this on every separate page. You can go through the editing features and create your site. So that's the basics of creating your Squarespace website. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. I'll do my best to get back to you. I know Squarespace is always adding new features, and sometimes they might change up a little feature within here that might throw you off from the tutorial. But I really hope this video was valuable to you and it was helpful for you to create your website on Squarespace. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll see everybody sometime in a future video.